we are getting even more news now on this Office of the Vice President, this staffer who has now tested positive for coronavirus. We are now confirming it's not just any staffer, it is the press secretary of the Vice President. So let's go right to our chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta, at the White House. Jim, tell me what you know.
Well, we were hearing this earlier this afternoon. A source close to the Vice President told us earlier this afternoon that it was Katie Miller, the press secretary to the Vice President, who tested positive for the coronavirus. And just a few moments ago, the president, in a roundtable discussion with other Republican lawmakers, described the staffer as Katie, as he called her, and also said she is a press person. And so it does appear that the vice president's press secretary has tested positive for coronavirus. This is a significant development. As you know, Brooke, Katie Miller is married to Stephen Miller, who is one of the president's top domestic policy advisors, one of his top speechwriters. And so this has the potential at this point. Obviously, we don't know whether or not this is the case with any certainty, but we know that there is now the potential that the coronavirus is spreading inside the White House among top members of the president and the vice president's team. As we reported yesterday, the military valet to the president, tested positive for the coronavirus. And that is why we are hearing that members of the president's team, members of the vice president's team are all being tested for the coronavirus. I can tell you in just the last couple of minutes, I was told by a White House official, Brooke, that they are making more testing available to members of the press, as Katie Miller was in contact with members of the press, including with members of our own team here at CNN. And so this is quite a significant development. As you just saw during the press briefing a few moments ago with Kayleigh McEnany, the new White House press secretary, just about everybody in the room on the press side was wearing protective masks and face coverings. I will tell you, though, Brooke, one of the things that we haven't seen really change in the last 24 hours, we have not seen a good number of White House staffers working around the White House complex who are wearing face coverings or masks. They just simply have not gotten the memo, if you don't mind me saying. And one of the things I think we need to be looking for as we move forward here, Brooke, is whether or not they start to take more precautions here at the White House, because as even the members of the coronavirus task force have been saying, Dr. Deborah Birx and Dr. Anthony Fauci, if you are infected or you suspect you've been infected, you should be wearing a mask. And they're just not doing that over here at the White House. And so I think the concern at this point is that this is spreading asymptomatically and potentially symptomatically. We just don't have all the details. But when the vice president's press secretary tests positive for the coronavirus, I think that's a significant development, Brooke.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Jim Acosta, thank you for that news.
Can you bring us up to speed about a member of the vice president's staff who has now tested positive for coronavirus? This is now the second staffer in the West Wing.
Yeah, well, I don't know much about it. Does anybody want to talk about it? She's a wonderful young woman. Katie, she tested very good for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden today she tested positive. She hasn't come into contact with me. She spent some time with the vice president. I believe, the press person, right? Say press person. So she tested positive out of the blue. This is why the whole concept of tests aren't necessarily great. The tests are perfect, but something can happen between a test where it's good and then something happens and all of a sudden she was tested very recently and tested negative. And then today, I guess, for some reason, she tested positive. So Mike knows about it, and Mike has done what he has to do. I think he is on an airplane going to some faraway place, but you'll be able to ask him later on. But they've taken all of the necessary precautions. I understand Mike has been tested, Vice President, and he tested negative.
What's going on. While cases and deaths in New York are
going down,
when you look to the rest of the country, in fact, cases are
going up. They are going up.
For example, Dallas County yesterday reported its third straight day of record cases on the same day the governor of Texas announced a new wave of openings.
That'll happen Friday, even though...
In audio obtained by CBS News, Texas Governor Greg Abbott acknowledged reopening will spread the virus.
The reality is today that the risk of the coronavirus to the average American remains low. And as we continue to take these steps, as Americans continue to take common sense practices to protect their own health, the health of their family, we'll work to keep it there.
Can you
Thank you all.
provide some guidance to the uninsured? Can the uninsured get tested? Gentlemen, ladies, can the uninsured get tested?
Scream into the camera, they can't get you anywhere.
Well, how about answering the question?
We would like an answer to that question.
That's a valid question. Could you answer it?
Get to the answer.
Welcome to 24/7 Eyes. This is our HQ where we have all the monitors to be able to check what's going on every single cable news channel across America. We always need you to get involved. We'll give you the stories. You just react in any way you like. Number one way you can be part of us here, though, is to subscribe. Just join the button there.